Gotta click, got it.
Okay. Welcome to Dunn School Curriculum Overview. I'm Simon Sweeney.
And I'm Terri Devine.
Our goal here today is to go through the course offerings and selection process for the school year 24-25. During this presentation, we're going to talk through the course recommendations, the course offerings we have, and then go through the process and timeline so all folks are aware. Terri, over to you.
Thanks, Simon. So first, I think it's important to review what our graduation requirements are so that everyone knows what we're working toward. So you'll see the list here of English for 4 years, math 3 years, science 3 years, history 3 years, world language 2 years, art 1 year, and elective 1 year. However, you also see next to that there are 4 years recommended for each of the academic areas. And this is mainly so that students are ready for college and freshman year of college. So we want to make sure they're building the strongest foundation possible. Now, students also have free will, and if they've met the science requirement of 3 years, they can choose something else perhaps to fill up that 5th slot in their schedule. Same thing goes with history or some of the other areas. World language is one where 4 years we really do recommend because it's one of those things that colleges are looking for when they're looking to admit students. So if you ever have questions about those things, please reach out. We do want to follow the minimum requirements for the UC and Cal State system here in California, but these are also general admission requirements for pretty much every college. So I think this, as I said, will help students to build a great academic foundation and get them ready for the college admissions process. Next slide. One of the questions that Simon and I will often be asked is about advanced courses and when students should take them and how they're recommended for those courses, and also sort of about the rigor and advanced placement courses and things like that. So one of the first things we will always start with is really thinking about each individual student and finding the balance for that young person. For some students, they want to take several advanced courses, but they may be also playing some varsity sports and maybe be on a club team for sports, or they're really involved in the arts. And it's important for students to understand that those advanced courses will take additional time. And so we don't want to have them spread themselves so thin that they're not able to really accomplish all of their goals. So really determining the appropriate rigor and time for those classes is important to us. The teachers will weigh in and they will talk to us about whether or not they feel a student can handle the rigor of an advanced course, and they may make recommendations as well. It's important that we really balance that with what the student wants and explain to them perhaps why a particular advanced course may fit better for them versus another. But this is very much a personalized process for each student. Our advanced courses are called advanced. They are not called advanced placement courses, and it's important to distinguish between the two. Dunn does not offer advanced placement courses. We offer advanced courses. Advanced placement courses are offered through the College Board, and there is an exam at the end of an advanced placement course. Dunn has chosen to do advanced courses that follow that AP curriculum fairly closely, but it does allow us to go into some different detail in areas where we feel students would like to explore. And therefore, the exact curriculum for the AP is not what we're following. We have a specialized advanced curriculum. Students are encouraged to seek out these courses, and they are absolutely able to take the exam. We will have the exams here at Dunn, but there will be self-study required for those types of exams. They're not going to be taught specifically to that test. Simon, anything else you'd add there?
I would just say it. And so basically, when it comes to the course selection process as well, we do look at advanced past grades, interest, but also, whether or not we think the student will be successful in an advanced course versus a regular course. And that is, the conversation that we have at this time of the year. So over the next, few months or so, we're balancing that stuff out.
Great, thanks.
All right, so I'm going to go through each of the courses that Terri listed. English is the core class that you can see next to Advanced English 12 down through English 9. There's an asterisk next to each course. What that means is that it is a required course. And so as you can see, English is required and recommended for 4 years in total. Our freshman English class is an English 9 class, just a general, everyone is enrolled in that. At the 10th grade, we're able to distinguish whether or not students should be placed on in the advanced classes or the regular English class. And that predominantly comes down to, that first year of us, getting students getting ready, used to the rigors of high school, as well as us figuring out who, the strengths and areas for growth in all students as learners. Off to the right in a slightly lighter color, we'll see a couple of other courses that are not mandatory core classes. Down below is what we call multilingual support, and that is a place for our English language learners. You'll also see it appear as a replacement for language in 9th grade. That is for students who need extra language and formal English instruction in the classroom. We also have 2 English-based elective classes that run year long, one being creative writing and the other one being speech and debate. Moving forward to mathematics. Math, we make the determination based on middle school experience and also a screening test at the start of the year for 9th graders. And so we have an advanced math course as well as regular math all the way through from 9th grade on. Our math courses are an integrated program. So basically we, rather than having discrete units of Algebra 1, Geometry and Algebra 2, we put them all together and make them be more developmentally appropriate for students. We do have students come in who will start in 10th grade should their course load determine that they've already taken classes, as well as pass through an exam where we can understand that their knowledge is at a certain point. But for the most part, most 9th graders will be going into Math 1, most 10th graders Math 2, and vice versa. At the 11th and 12th grade, we have quite a few offerings. As Terri indicated earlier, it is not mandatory that students do mathematics in 12th grade. However, it is highly recommended. Our advanced courses there are Calculus AB and Calculus BC. The higher level math classes we have, advanced statistics is taken by students who will either be looking into the sciences or social sciences classes as a primer for college. And then our Math 4 and our computer science are other options at that higher level for students who either they want a generalized math approach or they want to be studying computer science as a math option. Moving on to science, we start our 9th grade with physical science. Physical science is a general course that involves predominantly physics and a little bit of preparation for science in general. We have 2 subsets of that, one being our race car simulation section, where students learn principles of physics and apply them through the use of our simulators. We also have an intro to engineering section that takes place within that particular unit, as well as generalized science preparation. We have a number of students who come from different schools, and so having this as a 9th grade option is getting students up to speed when it comes to lab safety and lab experience. That is our primary goal there. As we move up the chain through 10th and 11th, we allow students to take advanced or regular courses again. We do chemistry in 10th grade, biology in 11th, and then the 11th and 12th grade students can choose to double up in their science should they like, and students can be taking advanced biology 1 and taking any of the other courses. However, they can't take advanced biology until the 12th grade, just from a sequential standpoint. As Terri mentioned before, when we have the advanced classes that are they're not the same as AP. However, when we look at the advanced science classes here, they take on a fairly similar curriculum map as those AP courses. They would be, so for example, if a student is taking chemistry or physics or biology 2, that is similar to the advanced class, whereas the biology 1 or the chemistry 1 is really just that advanced course introduction, rather than being in any way preparing kids for the AP exams. All right, moving on. We now have history and social science. Once again, we start with a catch-all history class in 9th grade, looking at ancient history. We then look at world history and US history in our 10th, 11th grade classes, and as our core classes there, we have advanced and regular as well. In the 12th grade, we have 2 classes that are recommended, but not necessarily mandatory for students to take. for the history requirement, but psychology and advanced government are our two sections there. And fine arts, I'm going to be looking at both art offerings as fine and performing arts, and that's why there's a weird or in the right hand corner. But basically, we require students to take one year at least of concurrent art courses, whether it be studio art, photography, or ceramics, or whether it be in the performing arts as well. Acting is a course that can be taken many times. And that's why it appears weirdly between 9th and 10th. And however, with the other courses, they are sequential. And we also, there are students who may go into ensemble or vocal ensemble rather than completing the fundamentals of music class. But that is an audition process once a child is enrolled in Dunn. Our global languages, our main global language that's taught in person and is our primary mode of instruction is Spanish. We have Spanish 1. We have some students who may test into Spanish 2 based solely upon their prior experience coming in from middle school. But typically speaking, majority of 9th grade are doing Spanish 1 and moving up through the courses over those 4 years that Ms. Devine mentioned. Over on the right-hand side, we have 3 other classes that are either support for students or can be taught remotely via third party. Our French 1 ASL classes, we are investigating using them as an option at the 9th grade level. However, that is dependent on enrollment and other circumstances. But for the most part, our in-person instruction is all in Spanish. Finally, we have 2 other elective departments, one being our entrepreneurship department. This is our course progression through entrepreneurship. We have a toolkit, which is introduction to entrepreneurship, as well as running our Jurgensen's Cafe. We also have, as we move through the 10th and 11th graders, we have other courses. The entrepreneurship innovation I won't talk about in this section because it is a crossover between the 2 departments. But the investors and philanthropists is really looking at how your money can work for you. Pioneers at the 11th grade is a independent project internship type circumstance, and then the macro and microeconomics a course that is taught through dual enrollment with the University of Syracuse that is only available for our 12th graders. And in our innovation program, we have within 9th grade, we embed innovation introduction to engineering class within our physical science class. We then have through the 10th and 11th grade a integrated course between innovation and entrepreneurship that is relating to both areas. And then for 12th graders who've completed the underclassmen work, there is a chance for them to do independent projects should they still want to be working within the innovation program. And that would be supported by Ms. Escalante, who is the director of the program. I'm going to hand it back over to Terri, who's going to talk through the timeline.
Great, thanks, Simon. So just so you all know, so our freshmen, sophomores, and juniors all met with me or with Simon during their seminar period this spring. And we talked about the different courses that are available to them and helped them to map out their next year. For freshmen, we actually created a 4-year plan. So they would see each year what was available and sort of see the roadmap that's ahead for them. So they have a pretty good idea, I think, at this point about what they would like to take. And those have now been created into a schedule that we are working on now to see how many people want courses and to make sure we're putting all the courses in the right place for them. You will have information about that coming shortly. In late April, we'll send out some information about the courses and what your students have registered for. And then you'll receive a recommended course list for next year in May, and those courses will be finalized at the end of trimester 3. So right now, I think it's important to know that even though a student may have chosen something, that information will go home to parents. You all will have time to discuss that as a family and determine if you want to make changes to that. So please reach out to Simon or I or to Ms. Plastino, our registrar, if you have questions about that. And then for any of our new students, they're going to be receiving having information about course registration and all their course selection and things like that coming up in just a couple of weeks here in April.
And thank you all. Thank you, Terri. And yeah, please don't hesitate to reach out to either of us. Have a great day.
Thank you.